Right, so Tim has got stuck in Germany with his starter motor not working, and I tried to diagnose the fault on the phone, and we came to the conclusion that his starter motor, which is a Vallejo starter motor I believe, has jammed. So what we're going to do today is take a look at it, and if it is the starter motor that's jammed, we're actually going to replace it with a Nippon Denso starter motor, which is the best solution, I think. They're a very good starter motor. So without further ado, we'll get on with it. So changing the starter motor on this R80-7 is broadly similar to the previous starter motor swap or removal I did, except the air filter is just slightly different. So there we go. Okay, so that's the air filter out. We're now removing the starter motor cover. The procedure from here on is pretty much the same as I did on the previous video on removing the starter motor. There we go. That's the Thunder Tim. There we go. Okay. We'll remove, this is the main starter strap. First thing you notice about these Vallejo starter motors is they're much smaller and more compact than the original Bosch ones, but more powerful. So they are, from a starting position, cranking the engine, they spin the engine faster. Trouble with them is that they have a reputation for the permanent magnets inside them breaking up. They don't have field coil magnets like a Bosch one, and the older ones tend to suffer from that problem. The cable here is the signal wire that comes originally from the starter button, so that's all the cabling that we need to remove, and the breather hose here is just tucked out the way. So all we need to do now is undo the mounting bolts. Fasteners on this particular bike are a pair of Allen screws. Cap head bolts. There's no nut to on the screws, they're screwing to threads on the starter motor itself. Right, so there's the two fasteners out. This little wire clip that holds a plastic cover. in the motor. It can just be pulled out the way. We can lift that off. And there is our motor. So there's our Vallejo. Alright, what I'm going to do is just bypass the solenoid on this motor for a moment and just try and make the motor spin by itself. And to do that, I'm going to touch the positive cable onto this nut here, and if the motor is not jammed, then that should just spin the motor by itself, and it's not. So the motor's locked up solid, so that confirms the fact that this motor is jammed up. I suspect what's happened is that the permanent magnet on the inside of the casing down here, this casing here, there's a permanent magnet glued, field magnet glued on the inside, and they have a habit of detaching and jamming in the works. So what we've got on the bench are 3 starter motors that are the possible alternatives for use on these bikes. The Bosch starter motor was the original fitment up until the mid 1980s, or maybe later, and then BMW started fitting the Vallejo starter motor, and then the Nippon starter motor is an alternative accessory, if you like. So if you'd just like to have a look at them. So that's the original Bosch. It's the largest of the 3 but the least powerful, these you can get these still, not new, but you can get reconditioned ones of these. From a point of view of efficiency, a better alternative in my opinion is either to go for one of these or one of these. The Vallejo starter motors are good in that they're a lot more powerful, but the problem with them is that they did have a reputation for the magnets coming off the inside of the casing after a while, and that jams them up, and that's what I think's wrong with this one. Other than that, you can see it's smaller and lighter, yet it's more powerful. This starter motor is the Nippon starter motor, and I've had one of these on my own bike for well over 150,000 miles now. It has never given any trouble. They have a very good reputation. I believe they were originally fitted to a small Japanese truck, and they are available. Unfortunately, these ones are quite expensive. They're about £260. The Vallejo ones, as I recall, at the moment of filming, at time of filming, they're about £170 new. You can also get reconditioned ones for about £120, and the Bosch ones are about £112 reconditioned. Personally, I think in the long run, if you're going to keep the bike for a long period of time, this is where I would go, but you've got to determine. The thing about the Vallejo starter motor is that you can get a £60 payback apparently if you exchange this for one of these, provided the shop says that this is in a reconditionable condition. So, but you only find that out once you've sent it back to the shop. Preparation for fitting these starter motors, you just need to bolt them straight in. They're a direct replacement for the Vallejo one. The only thing we want to do is look at the condition of the cables and make sure that they are in good condition before we reattach them, which is what we'll do. So let's just pop the starter in. This wire clip that I'm putting in, there are some special washers available to hold it in place. We don't have those at the moment, so we're just going to put it back in with regular flat washers. At some stage maybe we'll get hold of some special washers to fit. Okay, so right, we put the new starter motor in, and we can see down here that the cable's all connected up. I've moved this hose clipper around a bit so that it doesn't interfere with the cable, and that's all nicely fitted now, so we're ready to go. But just before we move any further, if you look down on top of the gearbox casing, you can see I've cleaned up this oil pull here, and I'm going to reattach the air filter casing strap bolt with some sealant on it. So just going to give that a clean up, get the oil off of it. We're going to give that a wipe over with some alcohol soaked cloth just to get the oil off. We're going to wipe the threads out as best we can. Screw that down into the threads. Pull it out gently. Yep, so we're going to put a little dab of lock and seal on this bolt. There we go, and that will lock the bolt in position and seal the thread. So yeah.